Welcome back to the show, the Superintendent of Michigan Center Schools, Brady Cook. Hi, Brady.
Hi, Bart. Always a pleasure to be here.
Always great to have you here. I think we're going to do a basketball game at Michigan Center. I think it was the last week. What did we have, a snow day or something?
We had the end of last week is
End of
when it
last
got
week.
frigid. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had like 5 days off in a row, counting the weekend. And I know you probably get calls. Why don't we have school, or why don't we have school? Is there a formula? How do you decide?
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. So you have you have different reasons for calling schools. So most recently this week, the reason was the frigid temperatures, which also did lead to some hazardous travel conditions. I think a lot of people picture the snow day as this awesome, glorious thing, and it's so easy for superintendents to make that decision. And we just call it, and everybody goes out sledding and drinks hot chocolate, and everybody's happy. And it is not like that, I promise. It's way more complex than that. And yeah, I don't know what kind of details you want, but I can kind of break down the thought process.
Well, I think timing is one thing, and I think so used to seeing snow pile up, a foot of snow falls, we get it. But there were a lot of things where you couldn't see, you didn't know what was happening, that were different this time.
Right. And I'll start with the cold weather just because one thing, I didn't know what I was getting into being a superintendent, but what I did not know for sure is that being an amateur meteorologist was part of the deal.
Yeah.
And with technology now, the access to weather is so prominent on different apps and things that any superintendent will tell you, and probably anyone who works in schools because they're paying attention too, and the students too, you start studying hours, even days before of what's coming, and you're tracking radars. So we'll take, for example, this past week, we knew you could see the weather out a few days. You knew the cold weather was coming. In Jackson County, we have kind of an unwritten rule that the wind chill, the temperature plus the wind chill, real feel being -20 is about that line where we're uncomfortable sending kids to school. And there are a lot of reasons for that. So people,
Yeah.
you get on Facebook and watch out because you're going to be called soft and you're going to be called this, you're going to be called that. But there's so many things that go into it. Just off the top of my head, it is really hard to maintain your routine with your buses and things when the roads are hazardous, when the buses maybe don't start as easily because it's so cold. So now your bus schedule is staggered. Kids are out at bus stops, and I would love to tell the viewing audience that they all dress for the weather. I guarantee at every school in Jackson County right now, kids are wearing shorts, a t-shirt, no gloves, no hat. So you picture them standing out at this bus stop or walking to school with the schedule already off. And it doesn't take long to come to the conclusion that it's just plain dangerous. So that's kind of the rationale behind the cold days. And then the snow days, it's a lot of the same thing. It's just a lot of us have big school of choice numbers. I know in Michigan Center, we're 40% school of choice. We have students as far away as Addison, Manchester, Hanover, Horton. We have a lot of new drivers. We have a lot of inexperienced drivers. We have tricky spots for buses. And every decision we make is always going to come back to what's best for kids. How do we keep kids safe? And when you base your decision on that, it's not a hard one to make sometimes.
Yeah, it makes sense. Safety first, and that's the priority, and everything else comes second. Well, hopefully we'll have, because in Michigan, I think there's an expectation we're going to have, 6-8 days of snow days. So we've had some of them. We'll probably have more.
Yep. And be assured, we never make a decision because we know the effects and the myth that people don't want to be in school is a myth. There are a lot of kids who want to be in school every day. It's an opportunity to feed kids, adults, teachers and things. It gets them off of their routine and their schedule for what they were teaching. So it's a hard decision to make. It's a PG show. So I'll tell you, you're a darned if you do and darned if you don't situation.
Yeah. All right. You've got a really cool project underway. You had your bond extension that passed in August. Are you at the point now where you're starting to spend that money?
We are. So we completed phase 1 in the summer, which took care of Arnold Elementary and the upstairs at Kiker. So now, and we're hot and heavy in it right now, we'll finish the rest of Kiker. And then in about a year and a half, we'll start on the big junior, senior high building. And this tricky weather has really illuminated how badly that infrastructure needed addressed so that we can give even comfortable temperatures. So we are looking forward to it. Thank you, Michigan Center community, for your support.
All right, and we always love to talk about Cardinals athletics with you. And this winter, it looks like you're having great success with your team, so it's fun to talk about.
We are, and I feel like I'm always here talking about teams doing really well, and then kind of the next team the next season, they one up it. I see some of the girls' basketball pictures there. That was a game last week at Grass Lake, who has been such a powerful rival, and especially girls' basketball, and they were state ranked. We went over there and we beat them, so our girls are 11-0, 7-0 in conference, and then our boys are also 7-0 in conference, and fun to watch. I saw some clips. I think someone from JTV had clips because I saw a sweet clip of Travis Collins, one of our phenom sophomores, dunk on a fast break the other day, and we get the gym rocking, and it's just been an awesome season. Great freshman block there. Yep, wrestling, that was from last night. That's a great shot. That wrestling season's off to a great start. We have a lot of bowlers out. We have over 20 bowlers, so that's going really well. And then our cheer team, we definitely say the same thing every year about cheer, where they just have the most consistent and solid program, arguably in the state of Michigan. They're ranked number 2 right now in Division 4, and the way they work and the way they practice and commit to that program with Coach Treefry, it's no mystery why they always do so well.
Well, one of the things that I notice about Michigan Center is you do get great numbers in all the sports, and really it's a relatively small school district with high athletic participation. What would you say? Why is it at Michigan Center you get such high participation among students in sports?
It's a great question. I think it's a combination of things, starting with people that work in schools will tell you when you have successful programs, there's just a different vibe in your school. And it's crazy to say this, but I've been working in schools for 26 years now. When things are going well, athletically, kids seem to get along better. Kind of the culture grows, and you feed off that. So I do think there's a lot of kind of internal support from the culture that basically says to all the kids there, like, you should come try this. We're having a great time. We're very successful. I think a really big part of it is the willingness of parents and community members at the youth levels. So, and our varsity coaches do a great job of helping to build those programs too. But for those people in the community who are doing it, they're not getting paid for coaching youth sports. They're doing it out of the kindness of their heart, and they get these kids excited, and they bring these kids to games, and with the success we've had, when you're watching this 7-0, varsity team, or this number 2 ranked in state cheer team holding trophies and winning games, it's electric, and it is something that you want to be a part of. I've always loved the atmosphere at Michigan Center at home contests and things, or even on the road, where the fans are rabid, and I mean that in the best way. And it reminds me kind of like what's going on with the Lions right now, where granted we've had a few more wins than the Lions have in the last 30 years, but the way that fan base kind of eats, sleeps, breathes Lions football is the way the Michigan Center community, and those, not just our community, those kids we've taken into our school community, react to the athletics, which in turn impacts the school community.
Yeah, really, I agree with everything you said, and I would add that it's the heritage of the athletics program is evident in the halls. You've got your halls and walls of fame, but you also have these folks who are still living in the district, and they're at the games, they're supporting the kids, and those names from generation to generation, people remember and honor.
It's a very cool staggered legacy where some of the historically legendary names are sadly starting to, some of the, I can think of, I won't bring up the names on here, but some families that maybe their kids have graduated recently. But now we have that next wave who looked up to those same kids who are maybe a tier down generationally. And I'll use an example of Travis Gaddy, whose daughter McKinley is playing incredible basketball as a freshman on the girls varsity team this year. I remember Travis being a stellar athlete and just a great all-around guy. And you fast forward years later, now he's the varsity basketball coach. His kids have been very successful in school and in athletics. So now you've kind of gone down to a little bit younger tier of legend status. And then right now there are people watching them and they want to be that, and and so on and so on. And I've said it a million times, that's what makes Michigan Center a very special place.
You bet. All right, Lions watching plans this Sunday?
I am insane about it. I got way too nervous for the last game. I feel like I'm in the game, so I'll hopefully not be throwing furniture or doing anything crazy. Hopefully celebrating a win.
Yeah, I agree. It was really stressful watching both the Michigan National Championship and the Lions win last week. It was too close for too long. So let's hope it's a blowout early.
Go Lions.
All right. Good to see you. Thanks for
All
coming
right,
in.
thanks, sir.
Michigan Center's Superintendent Brady Cook. Next.